Ladies and gentlemen, what is up? How's everybody doing? Hello, hello, hello. Ladies and gentlemen, and all those wonderful people in between, welcome to the first episode, Nerd Talkin' Ish. I have an amazing guest with me today. You know I big him up every time he's in the chat in any of my streams, any of my videos. That theme music you heard right before we switched, that was him. That was him. We have the illustrious Choco Odysseus here with us for our first episode. Choco, what do you guys say to the people?
If I'm allowed, LBL, can I bless the podcast?
Of course you can. Of course, go for it.
So first and foremost, if y'all know the rules and our side, squadettes, squadrinian. First and foremost, come here, accept this air hug. Come here. Hope y'all feel that. Hope y'all enjoying your weekend. Wherever you are, East Coast, West Coast, overseas, hope you are in good health and in good spirits. If you're not in good health, I hope you're as healthy as you can be. And if you're not in good spirits, then I hope by the end of this first episode of
Listen, man, this was so impromptu. There was no plan for this. This scene you see right here, this was supposed to be my intermission scene for whenever we were streaming. And I never got to use it because it was better to use the other one and the minimal stream. Like this, we never used. This was just sitting in the back space, like the same thing with blowing cartridge. But I'm glad that we got to use it because it was just in the back of my head, man. It was just like, yo, we got to do this. Me and Choco been having debates on Instagram back and forth about random things. But I'm so excited for this. I hope you guys like it, whether you watching it live or whether you watching a replay. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Make sure you hit that like button. That is your attendance for letting me know that you watched this and you actually like it. And we'll probably hit another episode in another 2 weeks. It's not going to be an every week thing. We'll probably hit 2 weeks, accumulate a couple of news things, a little topics to talk about, and we'll just talk that nerd-ish. There's a couple of nerds talking some ish. Maybe there's facts. Maybe there's a lot of feelings. Thing is, this is a strict debate where I don't care about whether we hurt each other's feelings or not. At the end of the day, we love each other and we're just going to speak our truth. So sit back, relax, and let's just get into the first topic, which is like, I think the hottest topic that everybody has been talking about for like the past week or so. I mean, everybody has covered it. I'm trying to find the streamer's name, even though I don't even want to give him more ups because apparently he's blowing up now for like all the wrong reasons. Streamer who went off. You think I'd have this ready, but this is me we're talking about. I'm never ready. I'm Dominican. Come on.
Hey, RNS, you know what I'm saying?
On audience. It's gotta be. Oh, whatever. I know his name is something of body of. This is gonna be the first topic. Where's the topic thing at? Let's go ahead and show it. Not there. Here. There we go. Topic. This guy right here. The guy that you're seeing right there. Alright, so apparently he went in. He was having a live stream. And a random chatter, audience member, whatever, another streamer popped in. And he basically goes ahead and says, hey, where have you been? It's been a while.
Yeah, one of his regular subs.
Yeah, one of his regular subs on Twitch. He goes, hey, it's been a while. Where have you been? They go ahead and honestly say, well, since you're asking, my mom died. He goes ballistic. something that I have never seen.
In the most peaceful ballistic, he says.
He basically says when you come in here, you shouldn't be spouting all that negativity. You shouldn't be trauma dumping on people. And it's like, bro, come on, like really? And then he starts giving this etiquette on, when somebody asks you what's going on, you should just either say it's fine or not go. Like, what's the point of asking?
Just be a Skyrim NPC, pretty much.
The fuck is wrong with people nowadays, bro? Like, honestly, the other day I had somebody come into my chat and they said, hey, it's been a while, kind of going through stuff. Thank you for this. I needed to laugh today. And I'm like, listen, this is why we do it. I had a time where one of my closest YouTube friends, Simba, came in and he needed advice. I didn't stop the stream, but you know what? We was doing some side mission stuff anyways, and I was able to give him advice as well as the people in my chat. Like, at the end of the day, whether you're gaming or not, when you're streaming, you are an entertainer. I am nobody if no one's watching. If I am no one if there's nobody here. So why are you gonna go ahead and isolate you? And then, come on. First off, losing a parent has to be by far one of the most traumatic things ever. I think one of the biggest reasons it hurts me is because you guys know what I was going through this year. And to confide, like, I don't know none of these people that talk to me over the internet when I stream, but we feel like family. You build a community around the people that actually like the content you make. So if somebody feels okay enough to tell you, listen, this is why I haven't been on, I am sorry, which a lot of people do. A lot of people hit me up, be like, yo, I apologize, but I always catch your replays. That's enough. I mean, come on. Before the hood early releases, it would just be me and Choco when I'm streaming. It'd just be me and him. And then I met all you wonderful people, and it's like, it just fucking sucks, bro. It sucks. It sucks.
Honestly, my bad, not to cut you off, my bad.
No, go for it. Go for it. Because it's boiling my blood, and it's already too early in this show to...
Nah, I got you on my outfit. To me, pretty much, it gives vibes of like every streamer, no matter from medium size to the top 1%, the Pokemains, the XQCs. Like at some level, people get big headed, feel me? And then they forget that, oh, this community I built, like you said, we're supposed to vibe. You take care of me, I take care of you. But he had this whole twisted, warped version of, I guess, what they would call like toxic positivity.
I didn't even know that was possible. That sounds like an oxymoron.
Exactly. But hey, common sense is an uncommon virtue. Ancient military proverb.
First off, y'all gotta get used to his proverbs, because there's gonna be a whole bunch of proverbs whenever Choco's in the thing. I'm telling you, man. Say that again?
Shit, ancient military proverb, El Mialfe. Common sense is an uncommon virtue.
Amazing. I'm sorry to cut you off, but wow, that blew my mind. Because it's true. It's fucking true.
Sad but true, my guy. And that pretty much defines a lot of people's mistakes, human errors, like human math. Like people like I said, like pretty much as you like, not piggyback more of what you said, is pretty much that. Like he got bigger than he thought he was. Like it's pretty much he gave almost vibes of like the reverse of the Bad Bunny chick. If you remember her from you remember how she
yeah.
He's like the male version, just in reverse. Like instead of him screaming, he's like, and then the apology video.
That was the worst. That was the worst, because it's like he's apologizing, but then he's also doubling down. What the fuck is wrong with people? It's listen, when I don't smoke, but my friends are big potheads, and when they go into conspiracy theories, when they start talking about shit like CERN and the fact that maybe the world ended, this is when I start fucking believing it. These are the moments where I start believing it. Because what the fuck is wrong with people, bro? What is wrong with people? Like, these are the people you are giving a platform to. Because best believe, like I said, he's blowing up now. Whether it's because he's getting negative hate or not, you are giving him the views, and
Lose some, gain more.
it's like the Paul brothers effect. No matter any publicity is good publicity.
Shit, the Kardashians been running that shit since Kim's little video. So
We'll come back to the Kardashians
now.
because yo,
Simba, welcome.
what's up, Simba? We're gonna come back to them because apparently Adesanya was rolling around with Kim a couple days ago. We'll come back to that one. We'll touch that one.
I heard a few, but we ain't gonna talk about that. I heard, one of the legendary future Hall of Famer point guards was seen around there too, but we ain't gonna talk about it.
We will, because at the end of the day, which is nerds talking ish. Any last things you want to say about that topic before we move on?
Shit, man. Big headedness can affect us all, man. From, I guess, athletes, politicians, to even, we've always known streamers get that shit. That's nothing new.
Yeah. I think my last things on it is, Ordinary Gamers, Moist Critical went down really great, talking about how, average we sit between 5 to maybe 20 viewers. And if one of those trusts you enough to go ahead and say something as personal as I'm losing a parent or I've lost a parent, I'm going through something, and you go ahead and just shit on them, it's horrible. It's fucking horrible. I mean, at the end of the day, we're gamers. We're not the most sociable people to fucking begin with. So to go ahead and sit somebody down and try to give them a fucking etiquette on how... There is no etiquette when it comes to this shit. This shit has been going on for at most 10 years. There are people that become millionaires because it's so unregulated. We don't know. We're rolling with the ball. I cannot imagine what streaming is going to be 20 years from now.
Probably
so you
VR.
can't.
I ain't touching that shit.
I got it. I got the Oculus over there.
Nah, if it hits Sword Art Online and Log Horizon, nah, miss me.
I mean, you saw that the suicide one they made, right?
Man, listen.
But let's move the topic. I mean, that's our thing. I wish no negativity on anybody, but I really do hope that every time that man gets out of bed, he stubs his toe. Like, for real. You don't do that shit. We're gonna move the topic over to this right here.
A nice splinter.
We're gonna move the topic over to Henry Cavill no longer being Superman, which kind of, I think it ignited the fire, and why I wanted to start this video series, this podcast, whatever you want to call it, was because me and Choco was going back and forth on whether or not he was even a good Superman to begin with.
We'll put a pin in that one wiki. We'll come back to that. But hold on that one time. But continue on me off it.
Yes, if anybody has any questions for anybody who's joining in live, we'll definitely answer everything towards the end. I promise you. So just hold off to those questions. Let's try to keep the show as fluid as possible. But don't worry, I see ya. Or better yet, I gotta start pointing this way. I see you guys. Yes. Breaking news was that is it James Gunn that's taking over the DCU?
Yeah.
James Gunn is taking over the DCU, which I'm not mad at. I think he showed his props off with the reboot of is it called a reboot? Or soft reboot on the Suicide Squad? Yeah.
I think so, but also he did do the Guardians of the Galaxy, if I'm not mistaken, right?
That was more. Yeah, he did do Guardians of the Galaxy. He did.
So he gets credit.
But in the DCU, I think he showed his chops. If he was able to save that dumpster fire.
Yeah, not the original Suicide Squad, but the Suicide Squad.
The Suicide. Yeah. With our boy Nanawe.
Yeah, him. Harley actually had like that. The whole shit with Harley, and that made perfect sense. That's how you do writing. Like, it was funny. It was a lot of.
It was structured really well. It was really well.
Of course, there was that one invisible actor in a red outfit. We couldn't see him, but he was hella funny. But yeah, it was a great movie.
It was so good it made casuals love it. Like Lola Hooks, that you guys apparently love for whatever reason. I have no idea. That is her favorite movie of that year. Like, she still watches it. Like, to this day. Like, I'll randomly go to the family room and I'll hear it playing. We got Peacemaker out of that.
300 cash.
Like, the jokes were fluid. It didn't feel Marvel jokey. It actually, I laughed.
Not forced.
Exactly. Not quippy.
It'll be a serious ass scene, then they'll try to force humor, and it'd be like
what Marvel's kind of getting into now, but we'll touch that topic Stay tuned. But yes, with James Gunn completely having all creative control over the DCU on what's to come, one of the biggest moves he made was telling Henry Cavill he is no longer going to be Superman. Now, that brought up a discussion that me and Choco was having through the DMs on whether or not he was even good at being Superman. I was in the side where I didn't like him as Superman, where Choco said he was okay and he did good, and I think you just said that it was direction that kind of really messed him up. But I mean, that goes back to what I always thought, and I've always thought that Snyder is not a nerd. One of the biggest reasons why Marvel succeeds is because the writers, the directors, and the producers, they're fucking nerds.
Used to be, but we gonna get into that
one. Yeah, we'll move on. We'll move on. Let's see. Let's see. What do you think about this? Because we spoke about it, but play on it because you're of the people that you probably would have want to see him get another shot.
All right, so I got you, Miafe. Pretty much, I'm one of the. I don't always go against the grain of the norm, but I'm one of those rare people that actually liked Man of Steel. You know what I'm saying? Like, not a perfect movie straight through. There were some dry spots. You know what I'm saying? Some bullshit. But
a lot of bullshit.
To me, what like one of the main things why that movie always was when it came to like certain scenes, like when it comes to music and like the tone and the sound for shit, like the buildup of when he was trying to learn how to fly, crashing into the ground, and then the whole you hear that in the background, and then you hear the music, like that shit slaps. When the beats and the drums, when the fight scene, when the bad short-haired Kryptonian woman was like, "Ooh, I like that, Poppy, bring that in here." Like all that is fire. Of course, you know the main actor, but I'm getting besides the point. So to me, the best example of Superman, without question, is Smallville. If those who haven't seen it,
I agree.
Point blank. Like, don't be wrong, they finagled a lot of the shit. We know this, but it was like
I agree, and I feel like I can tell you why Smallville Superman was a good Superman. And it's because they got one thing right with that Superman. And it was they got Clark Kent right. You get Clark Kent right, you will definitely get Superman right. You know, that whole alter ego thing that, you know, like Cosmonaut pointed out in his video, where it was like, oh, he pointed out the Kill Bill speech, which is, you know, the whole Superman's alter ego isn't Superman, it's Clark Kent, and Clark Kent is his critique on the human race. I agree with Cosmonaut. I don't believe in that. Clark Kent grew up as being Clark Kent. He was raised as Clark Kent. He had a father. He had a mother. For all intents and purposes, before he finds out that he was a Kryptonian, to him he was always an Earthling. He was a run-of-the-mill farm boy from a farm town who loved his country, and just if you get him right, you will get Superman right. But it's like I told you in the DMs, all we get is either Clark simping over Lois Lane or demigod Clark that's always portrayed as Jesus.
Was good early, but I don't trust the CW, so don't trust me about that.
Well, I mean, CW just makes soap operas.
I heard either HBO or Stars made Superman and Lois, and then CW just puts it on television. I don't know how the contract.
I haven't seen that. I've kind of jumped off of CW shows after Supernatural ended.
Bro, I agree with you. Anything besides Supernatural, I gave up on. Well, the Flash season 2 or 3, Arrow. Once they started, you kill people, Oliver. I was like, all right, I'm tired of this shit. Miss me with it.
But then it goes again. As much as I don't like quoting another YouTuber because it makes it seem like I don't have opinions of myself, I again agree with Cosmonaut. I was part of the people that used to say, you know, Marvel has the best movies, DC has the best shows, until they fucking came out with Daredevil on Netflix.
Daredevil and Punisher are by far two of the best things Marvel.
Yeah, after that, DC weren't producing what everybody knew them for.
Then they started to try to do the whole catch up to Marvel and
and
binge.
speed run through everything.
That's why the Snyder Cut was like 4 hours.
And even then, it was good. It was better than what we got with the original Justice League. But even then, it wasn't earned.
You needed a good blood or two.
You know how the DCU of what it was before James Gunn got his hands on it, nothing was earned. We got Batman from The Dark Knight Rises. That's not earned. That's old man Batman. He is not supposed to be that violent, that mean. That's Batman when the whole fucking world, when it went from villains stealing banks to villains raping women. That's why he had to be Dark Knight Rises Batman. That's for whatever reason, we just automatically jump to that Batman. Superman, we get close to freaking demigod Superman, which again isn't earned. Death of Superman, that was on the front page of newspapers, bro.
Yeah, that's literally what Marvel did with the whole death of Captain America, but they didn't really. MCU didn't really. They didn't go as hard as the comic did.
Yeah,
the death of Superman is one of the most known comics in all of DC. Like, especially with Superman,
it went viral before viral was a thing.
Exactly. That's why DC Comics brought that motherfucker back within like a good half a year or a year or two. Yeah, it's like no, resurrect that man.
They did no, not a year or two, nothing. Remember, at the end of the movie, the secret credit scene was the dirt flying off the casket.
The comics. I'm talking not the
movie. Oh, the comics. Yeah. Okay. We're on the same page now. We're on the same page. Yeah. I'm going a little ahead of myself.
But then again, that shows you that's pretty much what we joke about. Certain animes like One Piece has a problem of not killing characters off. Like they killed Superman off, and it's like end credits though.
Yeah, it's like they didn't double down. They were serious about it. It was, but going back to Henry Cavill,
yes,
because we are on Superman, but we still haven't spoken on Henry Cavill. I think the only thing I'm gonna miss about him being Superman is the fact that he's an actual nerd.
Yes,
that's the one thing I'm gonna miss. He's an actual fucking nerd. You could see even in the interview between him and Aquaman when they asked Aquaman, so can he talk to fish? And fuck, what is Aquaman's name? Momoa. Thank you. Jason Momoa is like, yeah, he could talk to fish. And you just see Henry Cavill look at him like, you're playing the character. Did you not do your homework? And that, my people, was the issue with the DCU. It's not to pick sides, but when the people from Marvel spoke, they loved their roles. They lived their roles. They knew their shit. Even if you was an actor at a certain point, and even to the detriment of what's going on with the MCU, which will transfer over to like what's going on with Chris Hemsworth, it is a detriment to how much they connected to their characters. Because now all they do is get typecast. But we'll come back to that. Henry, that's the one thing I'm gonna miss. He was a nerd. I wish, honestly, that when this news broke, he would have taken Spider-Man's approach when they were gonna fire him and just completely cut off his trilogy. You remember that Sony and Marvel was having issues, and he was like, "Listen, y'all can fight, but we gonna make this movie happen. Give me another shot. I'll make it happen." I wish he would have done that at the board meeting. I wish he would have fought more for the role.
See, I have a theory on that. So this and the whole Superman Henry Cavill, I think this all piggybacks off of the 3 projects he's literally involved with.
Which I believe he's part of James Bond, the James Bond shit, right?
Oh no, not the James Bond.
Okay.
Superman from DC, The Witcher from Netflix, and
now Warhammer, right?
Just revealed for Warhammer 40K being revealed. With Superman, I feel it was similar to what happened with The Witcher. How it's perfectly how you mentioned about Henry Cavill being such a nerd. Because honestly, that's becoming a lot more rarer in Hollywood. We're seeing a lot more people that are just doing it for the check. They don't know the source material. They won't respect it.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't have to. Most people don't care about it, but sometimes that's what your basis needs to be.
Yeah.
So in regards to The Witcher, Henry Cavill was known to be the Witcher Bible or the Witcher lore on scene. Like if anyone had any questions about shit,
they run over to him. Yeah.
That's why after this 3rd season, people are intrigued. They're like, how bad was this third season that Henry Cavill was like, deuces, Poppy, I'm out. No more to say.
Yeah.
So if that shows that the writers don't care about the source material, but we seen that. We only watched The Witcher because of Henry Cavill. Because we knew The Witcher was coming through and how passionate he was. He was as passionate to play Geralt as freaking Ryan Reynolds was to play Deadpool.
I agree.
That's what makes me really want to like, oh, he's passionate about it. Like he's really about that shit. It's not like one character I used to love but was destroyed by Marvel, Captain Marvel. And not to mention Plank. I'm sorry, Brie Larson. That's just the nickname you've been given by Hollywood. Like your portrayal of Captain Marvel was so plain. Like, and then we seen what they did with Captain Marvel in the comics book. That's not about that.
Yeah.
So with The Witcher, and then going into Superman, like, all right, he lost The Witcher, but now he has Superman. It should be no problem. Apparently something with The Rock and the Black Adam movie, he made him come back too early. But since he came back too early, they don't know what to do with him in the story, and it's like, huh?
I mean, let's keep it a buck. If we're already talking about Black Adam,
Talk about it.
That end credit scene should have been Shazam. If James Gunn is gonna reboot everything on the DCU, keep Harley. She's that character. That's our That's our Ryan Reynolds. Nobody could play Harley. She's Harley.
Like she can have her own movie maybe, but the director can't be like Birds of Prey. None of that.
Yeah, no. They say the one. Basically, how they wrote her in the Suicide Squad is perfect. That is perfect.
Yes, Birds of Prey don't exist. I'm sorry, I keep saying that movie. That movie doesn't exist.
And the second thing you don't touch, Shazam. I'm gonna name two more things. Shazam was good.
He does a good job.
That was the closest thing to is his name Billy Elliot? I know it's Billy. I think
no, the original actor. Yeah.
I think Billy Elliot. I think that's a whole Broadway play, bro. What the hell is wrong with me? Shazam. Keep them two in the DCU. Don't touch Doom Patrol, which is by far one of the best things that DC has ever made. Whether you think the seasons are dying out or not, I don't care. Don't touch Doom Patrol. That shit was amazing. And I'm starting to watch Peacemaker, and it's good so far.
Wicked. That's true, but the reason why it was Shazam instead of Superman is because The Rock wanted it. And that's why people are mad at James Gunn. That if he would have doubled down and listened to the fans instead of The Rock, but it's The Rock though, so.
Yeah. That's the issue with that I have with The Rock, but that's a whole nother topic. The fact that he plays the same character, and that's not the director, that's not the writer. It is because his production has all the money, all the hands in whatever movie he's making. But like it should have, and if it was Superman, if it was, but if it is Superman, it has to be a situation where Black Adam's like, you know what, do whatever the hell you want. But if you step in my country, there's gonna be an issue because in the comics and in the animated movies, whenever Black Adam shows up, it's a fucking problem.
Yes, full-hearted, without question. Like Black Adam in the comics is pretty much 10 toes down, full smoke, like Magneto is for mutants.
I agree.
I don't give a fuck about nothing else what y'all do over there. The minute you come on my block, it's clipped. Like
I agree. I 1000% agree. It's so much so that whenever it's a cataclysmic story in any DC story, and they focus on Black Adam, it's always to see which way he's siding. And he is always going to side with what betters his country. And if it so happens to be with the heroes are winning. If it so happens to be with the villains, they're going to have a hard-ass time. And we didn't see that in the movie. He was caring about a fucking kid more than... Listen, we should have fucking put Black Adam in this shit.
Yeah, he pretty much wasn't even Black Adam. He was pretty much Apocalypse. No cap. Like,
but again, Henry Cavill. Let's get back on topic with Henry Cavill.
So even though Henry Cavill lost those two roles between The Witcher because of Netflix, like Hollywood has a big problem of hiring writers that don't know nothing about the source material. They're
I
not
agree.
fans of the work. They probably hate this shit and they're just trying to ruin it.
I
Because
agree.
that's what happens to anything popular. Once shit gets popular enough, people that don't care about it are just trying to infiltrate it just so they can destroy it.
While also using the same storyboard.
Exactly. So where that leads Henry Cavill, Warhammer. If you want to know about like I'm gonna say this now.
That's a lore heavy franchise.
The writers, directors of War that are making the movie Warhammer do not piss off the Warhammer fan base. Them motherfuckers are loyal and play no games about their franchise. You think shit is a game just because this is just a game? No.
Warhammer, the game, the tabletop. Listen, it's
Tell you
so
right now.
in nerd talk. In nerd talk, I'm sorry to cut you off. In nerd talk, we only know Great Britain for exporting two things. That is Harry Potter and Warhammer. That's how big it is. And if you don't know Warhammer, I know for a fact you nerds know Harry Potter, and it's on that level, if not more. So they cannot fuck this up. It cannot be a what was that thing that they fucked up with the with the orcs?
Oh,
World of Warcraft, the
yeah,
movie.
yeah,
It
like,
can't be that. It can't be that.
see, wow. The problem is it's too much. You have to build too much for a
I
2
see you,
or
fire stuff.
3 hour. Like, not happening. What's good, Steve? What's good, Fire Step? Yeah. So, in 6 months to a year, or however far they are with the Warhammer movie, I'm not trying to hear the media claimed fans are being toxic because they're not following. Listen to the fan base. Listen to what happened for the Sonic movie, the first one. When
Thank
we
you.
saw
Come
that
on, bro. Hold on,
in
hold on. Let me give you the because of
right.
Sonic, we're getting Mario. Sonic, what was it? Was it the Mario game that revitalized the drop in video games? What was that? What was that thing called? When ET kind of fucked up all video games?
Video game crash.
Yeah. And then Mario came out and it revitalized.
Yeah.
Sonic revitalized. I'm saying that word completely wrong. Fucking Sonic
Revitalize.
thank you. Of
Yeah.
video game movie adaptations.
Facts. No question. No question. We still remember what the original Mario movie was. We still remember this shit.
Shout out to John Leguizamo. And my man from was that Roger Rabbit? He was
Yo,
Mario.
chill.
Fun fact about that movie, they shot every scene completely blasted out their minds. They were drunk every scene.
Had to then, bro. Because like, that makes it even better because the main character of the movie, the detective, he's so I don't give a fuck about this job he's doing. He's like, bro, why am I here? Why am I in tune? Like, bro, chill. So yeah, people making Warhammer, listen to the fans. We not trying to hear none of that motherfucking Bob Hosack. Thank you, Anonymous and Wicked. Bob Hosack.
Yeah. Thank you.
But yeah, thank God the Sonic listened to the fans. We didn't get the mutant Sonic. We got the then they got a second one.
Then they got a second one, which was fire.
Brought Knuckles out. So Mario movie, even though people are hating, like the hate fucking what's my guy's name?
Chris
who plays
Pratt?
Star-Lord? Yes.
Chris Pratt?
The hate he gets is so left field, bro.
Oh, 1000%. I think that trailer blew everybody's mind. And
Was
I
it
saw
amazing?
people that were on that fence were like, oh my god, I hate his voice. They were like, you know what? They put so much love into this movie for the fans. I'm okay with it.
Yeah. Like that's like saying, oh, Ocelot from Metal Gear Solid is so iconic. The fact that I heard the famous voice actor Troy Baker playing Ocelot in Metal Gear Solid 5, it threw me off. Like, nigga, what?
Like, did it really break that experience? Like, come on. Or I can't. Because also I love us nerds, but sometimes we could be so nitpicky for no
like,
goddamn reason.
I get it. We would have preferred the actual Mario to play the voice of it. Like, okay, but bro, it's
But
Chris
they're gonna
Pratt.
give him his flowers. I know they will. They'll definitely
Yeah,
give him his flowers. Because
bro,
if you
they
saw
should
in
get.
that trailer, there's a second where they pass by the Toads shopping, and they're like, "Oh my God, how old is this? Does it even work?" And then the Toad goes, "Yeah, if you just blow through it, and if you look really close, it's a cartridge."
Yeah.
So they're gonna give him his flowers, bro. Don't worry about it. To get off of the Superman topic, I'm sorry to cut you off, but let's move on. Um,
Yeah, we started talking about
if
everything but
yeah,
Superman.
yeah, yeah, that's how me and Choco's DMs be. We talk about everything. Um, if you was to cast a new Superman, who would you think? Or you want just a completely fresh face like what they do with Star Wars?
Don't get me on Star Wars.
We'll talk
Don't get me.
about Star Wars one day if you want.
I don't know. I don't know, man. Cause it's like Wolverine for Marvel. Like
Yeah,
we seen Hugh Jackman was so iconic. Anyone else other than him is just like.
which I love what
But
Ryan Reynolds is doing, bringing him back.
like for that, you would probably have to go with somebody, I guess, younger. But you don't want just somebody younger. You need somebody that actually has acting credentials. Because
And
either you
looks
pick
the part.
yes,
And then
you
looks
know,
the part.
oh,
I
yeah,
see. I see you, Sebs. I see you, Sebs. I'm gonna answer your DMs. I'm not gonna answer it on stream. I don't like throwing my ideas out live because people steal them. But I got you for the GTA stream. I'll hit you up with that.
I don't know. I'd have
um
to on that. I don't know. Like,
um I don't know if it's because I'm watching Peacemaker, but a part of me wishes Peacemaker would have flopped because I could see John Cena doing it. I can see John Cena doing it. He looks the
nah,
part. He got the
I
physique. He
can't.
got the height.
John Cena is too iconic, bro. I'm
I
sorry,
know. I know. As Peacemaker, I wish they would have never cast him as Peacemaker.
bro. The memes would be so fucking hilarious of him in a Superman suit. It would just be like, yo, there's some super brolic alien saving the world, but I can't see him. Let him save us,
But you also need that factor in. You
bro.
need that factor when it comes to memes as well. Because memes will literally sell a movie. Nobody wanted to go see that Despicable Me movie, but we went to go see it because of the memes. Everybody dressed up in a suit. Everybody dressed up in a suit. I mean, Sonic would have never been that big if they would have. I still believe they made that ugly thing on purpose.
I don't know. I think Hollywood, like remember, like we were talking about before the stream, the podcast started. Hollywood is running low on ideas. So
I
even if
agree.
they have a good idea or a property of an existing one, they'll fuck it up if they'll try to. And they're about to with that Sonic movie. Look at Star Wars. But we'll talk about that another time.
All right, we're gonna move our topic over to this topic, which was originally gonna be. It was originally gonna be a video that me and Choco were gonna shoot. We were planning out a perfect day, but I think this is the best way to do it, and the best way to segue because you're talking about Hollywood. And listen, I am a nerd. When I tell you I screamed when I started noticing what Marvel was doing at the beginning of Phase One, where the end of the Incredible Hulk, you see Tony Stark talking to Red Hulk at the bar, and then you go and you see Iron Man, and it's just those end credit scenes start tying in all these other movies. Listen, I was all for it. I was screaming. Hell, when Martin Scorsese was saying, he doesn't see superhero movies as movies. I was like, "What the fuck are you talking about, bro? Look at Endgame." He said that close to when Endgame had just came out for streaming, and I watched that shit like a whole bunch of times. But
better. But
superhero movie fatigue is setting in, bro. It's setting in. It's like every other month there's a new movie, and it's the same shit. There's only a few handful of different things. And Choco, he was very apprehensive with hitting this topic because he's like, I got a lot of things to say that people are not gonna like, but I want you to say them because we're talking that ish and we're nerds. So come on, talk that ish. Talk that ish.
oh man. All right. So it's interesting what you said. Literally, in the beginning of the first few years, right? It took years to build this. It took 10 years to get to Endgame and Infinity War. 10 years, right? So it is interesting now Riri, ooh, wicked, ooh, this shit wicked. Don't worry, I'm gonna get to that. Don't worry, don't worry. So it's beautiful that El Mialfe mentioned the fact that now every month or so there's a new show or movie. So in the first 10 years, there was a good pace. It was maybe 2 or 3 movies at most in for a year at most. Now it's every month. Yeah, now they're trying to literally cram as much as they can. Why?
It sells.
We,
It sells.
we
And we're
it
way too
does.
invested already.
But here's the problem. One, after Endgame, a lot of people ejectocetoed mentally out of it.
It was the end of the
Why?
era for them.
And then we seen phase 4. I can be a cynic. I'm in the boat of people that call phase 4 phase mid.
You're not the only one. Marvel just recently said that phase 4 did not work out for them.
Like the direction that Marvel went in across the board, writing wise, directing wise, like so much went wrong behind the scenes for like movies and shows. Like I don't call like the top 2 movies of phase 4 were Doctor Strange 2, which I don't call Doctor Strange 2. I call that shit WandaVision season 2.
I agree.
And Spider-Man was it Far From Home or No Way Home?
Yeah.
No Way Home.
No Way Home.
Which was a great fucking movie. But what did they say about that Spider-Man movie? The first 5 Spider-Man movies web swung so Spider-Man can make his way from No Way Home.
I agree.
Literally, like it was in a baked pie that we all ate happily, and I was happy.
I agree. I 1000%. We saw it in the theater together, midnight release.
That's a fact. There was a few parts I wanted that could have went better, but no, it was glorious.
I left happy. I left happy with that movie. I left happy. It did feel the nostalgia. It gave a lot of people homework. You had to watch the Raimi films. You had to watch the Amazing Spider-Man films so you can scream at that movie when everything unfolded. So I 1000%. It was an event. I didn't even see it as a movie. The same way Endgame was an event, that's the last Spider-Man movie we got was an event. Exactly. I will say this though. Doctor Strange was a letdown.
Yes.
It was a letdown. Right,
so I'm glad you said that. So I will say, just like your hood early releases, you know what I'm saying? Where they fell off a truck. Ha. You know what I'm saying? I'm sometimes privy to certain like movie shit sometimes, right? I was privy to, some scripts alleged, you know what I'm saying? Or they fell off a truck somehow. Ha.
Yeah.
So I knew kind of what would have been 90% of the movie turned out to be 60% of that happened. I was like, okay, cool.
After it got revised.
Yes. What I read compared to what happened, that was about a good 60% of it carried over.
Yeah.
Daredevil would have had a bigger role. Craven was supposed to be there. Glorious. Same thing with Doctor Strange.
Illuminati would have had a bigger role.
Bro. All right. So my bad for all those listening. Once again, anytime I say WandaVision season 2, I'm saying Doctor Strange 2. I just showed. That's how much respect I don't have for that movie.
Which is not to take away from WandaVision, although the whole thing with her brother. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's not to take away. I feel like continue. I'll talk on WandaVision.
Yeah. So with WandaVision season 1. Was a great show. The ending,
they dropped the ball. They went safe.
And then the whole back ending of why Doctor Strange wasn't in the ending of WandaVision season 1, that kind of made me a little bit more like, not in the superhero fatigue, but the realization that they're really like, for all those who don't know, Kevin Feige.
If I'm not mistaken, because this is my show and I don't care, like I said, we don't swing left, we don't swing right. We are unapologetic. That was the seed growing out of the ground of what a lot of people, a lot of incels, as you will say, call the MCU.
So Kevin Feige said in an interview, and I quote, "The reason why Doctor Strange was not in the end of WandaVision 2 was because we didn't want to have a powerful male seeming like he was talking down to Wanda." Like,
Which would
huh?
have been, because again, they sacrificed being politically correct for what would have been an amazing arc in Wanda's story. To
Which
have
is
her, as you would say, being talked down by Doctor Strange, and then what we saw happening in his movie, where she came in and wrecked everybody, would have been an amazing turnaround to the conflict of that movie.
stop making sense. How dare you?
I know, I know. How could we? We don't write movies, but you know,
So, as you said, that was a seed or a sapling of what was to come. So it gets crazier. Like, it's so bad in some of these storylines that it's literally
predictable.
copy paste, where you have a male character, a male role being the lead, bam, and then he'll get phased out, replaced with a stronger, more dominant woman who, well, there's no problem with that. But if the lead male character is always an idiot, ha ha ha, whoops, and then the strong female lead character, the lead female lead, I'm repeating myself, she'll always be the one to save him, and it's like, it's never equal, and it can never be they both strong. It's like,
It was
mm,
one of my biggest issues with Aquaman.
lazy storyline writing. I'm sorry, I have a pet peeve. Continue.
It was one of my issues with Aquaman. Aquaman and his movie was already Aquaman. They
Amber Heard.
established they established his upbringing, that he was always privy that he was from Atlantis, and then they made him to be this stupid guy that doesn't know anything. That always had to be explained through Amber Heard's character. This is what's going on, this and this, and then you will randomly have a scene where he didn't know Pinocchio was a book before a movie, but then that same very scene a few minutes later, he's explaining about the ancient Byzantine Empire that once used to... Come on, man. Like, your writing is not consistent because you're just trying to pander to everybody. Where if you let a story organically happen, and it's not to say that, like you said, it's not to say that a woman can't explain to a man or a man can explain to a woman, or vice versa when it comes to saving, or it's just when you go ahead and step in to make sure you're not hurting nobody's feeling, you fuck up your story. And then you come up with this stencil of how to make a superhero movie, and instead of telling great stories, you're copying and pasting because it's safe and it makes you money. And I am tired of it. One of the biggest reasons why I said it, that Black Panther 2 was going to be amazing, was sadly, rest in peace Chadwick Boseman, but it forced them to actually have a fucking theme of their movie, which was grief.
Talk about it.
If not, we would have had the same copy and pasting with Namor, as they made him sound. But even
Yeah,
Namor was spinning facts. It was different because it was forced.
we got Kodo Khan from Mortal Kombat. You can't tell me no different, bro. That was not Namor from the MCU. That was Kodo.
It was Kodo. He looked like Kodo God.
Bro, that even his glow up mode, that's Kodo Khan from Mortal Kombat, bro.
And it's because of that. It's because they're not challenging. Listen, like, you guys see the way that I am when we're playing God of War. I'm critiquing God of War as a film and not even a video game anymore.
I loved it. That's why I made my YouTube video on that shit. That's how
check
much
that out. Go check it out because it's amazing. Everything Choco said, I 100% agree with. But they let the story breathe. We didn't have to have fucking character development for Brock in God of War, but we got it. Then you go over and you see a Thor movie, and we have Kat Dennings' character in fucking WandaVision still acting. She hasn't changed from when the first Thor movie was there. There is no character development outside of something happening, but then you kill the character development with these jokes. You guys know what I was going through this year. My mom had terminal cancer. I am a nerd. I know Jane Foster's story when she turns into Thor. It escaped my mind because I had way bigger things to worry about. And when I was on that date watching the movie and she had to go through chemo and it hurt me. Like I got a frog in my throat. I felt like I was gonna cry. And then you guys completely fucking killed it with a joke 3 minutes after.
Mm-hmm.
You had something with it. And it's why I agree with Chris Hemsworth being pissed off of what they did.
Yeah.
Gore the God Butcher was supposed to be as big as fucking Thanos.
Damn
He is.
near.
They got rid of him in one movie. Come on, they got rid of him in one movie, which is one. And this is not only talking about Marvel. I could do the same shit for DC. It's just the superhero formula that they're coming with that just has me so fucking tired.
I got you. All right, so I got you right now, Meowface, so you don't lose your voice. I got you right now, right? So
Speaking of
I'm gonna
hydrate,
also use the two things Wiki just used. So, in regards to Chris Hemsworth, yes, he's another prime example of why he's pretty much leaving the MCU. He's fed up with it. The writing, the writers, the people who write the movies are not fans of these movies. They're not fans of the property. I can promise you that. Wicked, Riri Williams will be the replacement for Iron Man. Was she a good one? God no.
she doesn't work in the comics.
Her comics did not sell, and that's hilarious because in the first 10 years, when we would always be like, "Oh, the comics," people would tell you, "Oh, that's just what they used to say in the Pirates of the Caribbean. Oh, that's not rules; those are guidelines to kind of follow."
Yeah.
So now that we're in the phase 4 and 5, now you want to worry about canon. Now it's we gotta get the comics now. Jane Foster's Lady Thor was in the comics. She was a Mary Sue, but she was in the comics. Like now you care. So the mutants were supposed to come in Wicked, and the Bucky in the Winter Soldier, they were supposed to be in there. The main villain in that was supposed to be Rogue and Gambit. If not, I don't know how it was supposed to be Rogue and a few other.
I didn't know that.
It was supposed to be Rogue and a few, and maybe Gambit, but Rogue was supposed to be in there. And then Rogue was gonna escape and then pop up in the next Captain Marvel movie or show.
But I will say this. They showed their hand, even though we both loved WandaVision. We did technically get our first mutant in that movie, in that show.
How it happened was the most okay.
It's kind of what X-Men has always said. That it's an X gene that at certain points in your life it awakens, and that's what happened. That's what we saw. But they didn't. Again, they played it safe. You could have just said it. You could have just said, "Listen, we just introduced mutants. Y'all missed it."
Yeah, technically her kids, and then Monica Rambeau.
Yeah,
but they're not calling her a mutant because technically Wanda gave her powers. Okay,
but then again, it's like it's the fatigue, man, is setting in. I just want them to do something different. It's why last year, one of my favorite movie, it was not hyped. It was different. It was weird. Was Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Ooh.
Which was a surprisingly a better multiversal movie than fucking Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness.
Well, we know why. Like, here's the superhero fatigue is only happening a lot faster because of what I said earlier before, the being destroyed from within. Yeah. Literally, El Meowfe. Like as someone who has a pet peeve for literary writing, literally from comics to mangas to anime to movies, my pet peeve is writing. If the storyline don't slap or don't hit, if there's any problem in it, I'm gonna be like.
It's also one of the reasons why you told me you moved on to manhwas and kind of took a break from mangas and comics because it's different. Yeah,
comics has been
following the same thing that the MCU is doing. I mean, I think what is it? X-Men just announced 4 new characters, but they're replacement for old characters. So if so facto, you didn't make new fucking characters. You just switched all the white characters from the 80s and 90s and just switched them for different races.
We're not going to talk about what was it that got canceled so hard? the mutants, the new generation, the safe space, and
I
the
think we're talking about the same.
yeah, those that got canceled stupid fast. So yeah,
They're playing it too safe. What I
and it's
think.
not even safe. Here's the problem, El Malfa. You're playing it safe for a crowd you're trying to please for Twitter, but those motherfuckers don't buy your shit. They're
Yep.
not fans of
Yep.
your shit.
I agree.
All they want is the Twitter, yay! And then when your shit drops, oh, what happened? Oh,
What was it that Kendrick Lamar said that he's tired of overnight activists, and
and
that's what.
that's where all of them are. All these, the directors. That's why the second Wonder Woman movie was garbage because the director was like she went full activist and feminist, and
When the
that movie
first one was amazing. The first
exactly
one was amazing. The first one was a Wonder Woman movie,
Birds of
but
Prey, absolute trash. What else?
trying to
Like,
be a Deadpool copy, but it was weird.
like, and Harley has her own personality, so it's like, but that's
And her own
DC, but
stakes in the universe so far.
exactly. And that's when we were talking about before, when you have no original ideas, even when you have a mountain of source material that you can lean on, you have people, what they'll do now is instead of, I have to use She Hulk. I'm a power through this. I'm trying not to TV talk, but I'm power through this mother.
I'm gonna
So
give you my hot take. You already know what my hot take with She-Hulk is.
So She-Hulk and like, and this is coming from a guy who used to watch law shows. Literally, like
Yeah.
I'm all about that courtroom, bro. Like, what are we talking about, bro? The '90s had nothing but law shows growing up. Like, nah, you want to see some of the smartest people you know? Talk to a hood motherfucker. Motherfuckers know how to get you out of shit. Like, oh, what you did with it? Nah, man, you got that's 2 to 5, bro. Don't do that, man. Like, literally, right? It's a fact. So She-Hulk was literally nothing more than Ally McBeal with a splash of superheroism.
Yeah.
When I tell you She-Hulk in the comics was the epitome of a bad bitch who was strong, empowered, and did not like she was I'm a Hulk, but I'm still about my haha. Like, bro, in the show, they made her this what do they call it? A wine ant or something? Like she's
Okay,
the
a
most
wine ant. Yeah. Like one of those ants that. Yeah.
literally, bro. Like
One
the
thing that
first
sorry to cut you off, but one of the things that I did love about the whole MCU and the whole, fact that our nerdy movies are being made was the fact that whenever a movie will come out, I will prep by actually reading the comics of it. And you talking about She-Hulk, I 1000% agree. She-Hulk, honestly, if you read her comics, was Deadpool before Deadpool.
she was literally she was fourth wall breaking before Deadpool
Yeah.
was like, oh, like she was literally like if the Hulk was ha, She Hulk was not weak at all. She just wasn't the Hulk. But she was
Yeah.
a female version. She was slimmer, faster, but Hulk is fucking can jump fast. Like he's just like She Hulk was a epitome of a strong. Like this is my pet peeve where like everyone's trying to make a push for like, oh, the people are trying to make it so like they don't want strong female women. They don't want strong female women.
You had an
That's a
opportunity.
lie.
You had an
You're
opportunity.
talking to you're talking to weebs who grew up watching Xena, bro.
Sailor Moon. Talk about it.
Sailor Moon, bro. Xena was the first bad bitch warrior princess who was a bad woman. She was gorgeous, had the hands, bro. She had Kevin Sorbo's Hercules, the toughest brolic demigod out here, handsome nigga, right? And then she had Gabrielle, a bad light skin ting, bro. She had both before wokeness was ever a thing.
Yeah.
But now we need strong women. But Ripley, who was busting the before guns were called blickies, bro. She was out here shooting up aliens, bro. What are we talking about? But we need strong, empowering women.
Is her name Jane Foster from Silence of the Lambs? That was a great way to write a woman in a man's leading industry, which was what was it? She was part of the FBI. It wasn't pandering to nobody. They showed you perfectly what it's like to be a woman in an office full of men. And she did not back down. And she fucking found it put its lotion on its skin. Here's my hot take with She-Hulk. I liked it. But I can objectively say that it could have been better. One of my favorite scenes from She-Hulk was ruined because of the CGI. I'm not gonna lie.
I jumped out the window. That was the best. That was the opinion that showed me.
Deadpool stole that whole season clearly, Daredevil stole that season 1000%.
They ruined that,
and
they ruined Deadpool, bro.
He stole it. He stole it. I loved him in that. He was great.
Oh wait, I'm not.
But my favorite scene is when she's in therapy, in the group therapy, and she has her monologue. That was written beautifully, and I wish that would have been her attitude throughout the whole season, rather than what we got episode 1 when she was belittling the Hulk.
Belittling, bro. Her talking down to the Hulk, bro.
Yeah.
Like that whole rant where like they were all like, yes, queen. Like you're literally talking to a nigga who's been on the run, couldn't be with his woman, like his first woman. The second woman he fell in love with died, and then he blew
sacrificed himself. Yeah, like
what
that was a moment for them. That was a moment for to give Bruce another character development, which wouldn't have overshadowed her. It would have been like, listen, I know what you're going through. It could have been a really great heart to heart. If we would have got the character that we saw in that monologue she had in the group therapy, the show would have been better. Because essentially that show was giving a person who was not seen, she was not pretty, even though I think the actress, she's pretty, but
fucking gorgeous.
But like, in show, she was not pretty, she was overlooked. Her cousin is the fucking Incredible Hulk. But you give that person, and you basically give them green skin and superpowers, and you go from being not seen to being the most seen person at that moment. It's a beautiful story to tell. I also liked the law stuff could have been better, but it was interesting to see what the.
Oh my god, bro! I'm telling you, bro, El Meowfe, deadass. Like, if they even actually knew law cases, the law segments could have been better.
With a little superhero sprinkle, and it would have been amazing. Like the whole elf thing was fantastic. Even though people were so mad with the Mega the Stallion, that case was interesting in idea.
Cases were stupid, bro.
Like, how do you deal with somebody stealing someone's identity when they're a literal shapeshifter?
Like, bro, most of those cases were so dumb, bro. Like,
towards the end, they dropped the ball, and then it became the same schlock we all.
They dropped the ball the whole season.
What I meant was, as the law cases progressed, it was less and less law cases, and more like in the life of She-Hulk.
Yeah.
Like the first law case was interesting, then the second one was okay, then the third one was then the fourth, then Daredevil came and you were interested how he got him off, and then it went back to
See, and here's where they messed up with Daredevil. This is where they lost me. Like I never had faith in She-Hulk, the show. After the first episode or two, I lost faith in it. Where I knew the writers, the writers they don't know men or they don't know hookup culture, right?
Yeah.
So after the episode where she's done with Daredevil and Daredevil's leaving the crib, first off, no man will ever carry his shoes like that, bro. If a man's leaving from a one night stand,
it reminded me of the 22 Jump Street scene where Jonah Hill's leaving, and he's doing the walk of shame with all the co-eds.
Men don't have a walk of shame, bro. We really walk around like,
we go like this, walking away.
What are you talking about, bro?
You feel like $1 million. You feel like $1 million.
Bro, so him, I was like, bro, like
it was funny, but it could have been written better. It could have been written better.
That's not a thing.
When 22 Jump Street did it, it was extremely hilarious.
It was only funny because Jonah Hill in that show is kind of a bitch.
Yeah,
and that movie kind of like
if it was you could tell he wanted more. He didn't get more, so he became like all the other women walking away from that one night stand. And it was
Daredevil in his show got all the cheeks, bro. What are we talking about, bro?
Yeah. Like, I mean, I agree. So listen, the one thing that I have hopes when it comes to any superhero content, the only thing saving it right now, The Boys and Invincible.
Alright, with The Boys, I'm sorry. I fucks with The Boys hard, but that last season was...
this is why I love you, Choco. Come on, I'm gonna give you the wow. This is why I love you, because I was talking to everybody, and I was like, the one thing they messed up, two things I'll say, was Mother's Milk backstory, His backstory is by far one of the most interesting things I've ever read in a comic, and you messed it up. And the second, the fact that they focus so much on superpowers that the boys are having, where if you look at the comics, it's an everyday thing for them.
And not to mention in the show, like the split between like remember in the first how many seasons was the boys? 2 or 3?
I think this was the 3rd season, if I'm not mistaken.
All right, so the first this is why for example, as a reference point, the show Spartacus was the perfect balance between sexuality, brutality, and writing. The boys in the first 2 seasons did a good balance. If you're gonna show tickle bitties and some female cheeks, you're gonna show some man ass and some women. Season 3, there was barely any tickle bitties, any cheeks, bro.
And mind you, one of their episodes was Herogasm.
Bro, and in the one scene where it should have been well warranted, spoilers, no spoilers, when the one we all like, oh god, man, yeah, nothing, bro.
I agree. And mind you, the marketing around the Herogasm episode was wild. Like if you didn't watch The Boys, you were like, yo, what are they talking about?
Bro, that first 5, I'm just like, hey, yo, I'm like, all right, there better be like, don't be wrong, the orgy episode was all right, that was warranted. But it was never on the reverse side. The reverse side, it was barely any like.
Yeah. But yeah, they really messed up with Mother's Milk. Mother's Milk, Love Sausage, the fact that they threw his whole thing away for Little Nina. Little Nina's death in the comics of The Boys was so butcher. It was just so butcher the way they get rid of her. It was such great writing too. Like,
and that's
I hope they fix it. I hope they fix it.
That's the sad part. Like modern comics, like the rare few gems are actually valid, but the incorporation of it, once like after a certain part, they stop divulging, of course, from the source material, and they start writing shit they want, and that's what's happening with these writers.
Yeah,
Invincible might be one of the only. If they fuck Invincible season 2 up,
They won't, and it's not because I'm a huge Robert Kirkman, who's the creator of Invincible, The Walking Dead, something else I completely forgot.
Season 2 is gonna be glorious, but season 3 is going to be my season, bro.
Yeah, the fact that he has his hands on everything. The only thing we're gonna get, which I like, is that he's recontextualizing the story so it paces better in a show.
I will say in the comics, that shit was, but it get, oh man, the Viltrumite War.
The Viltrumite War, the Invincible War.
Oh, not the Invincible War is crazy. Listen, but I'm sorry,
I don't care what Robert Kirkman has to do, but he better get that spawn. He's better get that spawn in there. I don't care if you need to pay McFarlane, whatever you need to pay him. We need that scene. We need that scene. Whatever. We need the Spider-Man scene.
Bro, whatever you got to pay Marvel or Sony for that, I'll gladly, bro. Make that a whole episode if you want to.
Because in the comics, it's a 1 second thing. It's just a 1 second thing. But it was so fucking cool.
Oh,
listen, if he gets it, I know we're gonna get our Spawn movie. And I'm not talking about Jamie Foxx, even though he's very talented. We need Jaleel White.
Yeah. I'm still in reference of what is it, Michael J. White or
Michael J. White? Yeah. I was calling him Jaleel White.
He might be old.
But he's still there, bro. He's still there.
He's still sorry.
He's still there with it. Yo, and they could use it. Listen, Amazon, I know you probably won't hear our voices, but we still gonna talk. These nerds are gonna talk that ish. You dropped the ball with that Lord of the Rings. Give all the schmeckles to Invincible, because that's the only thing that's gonna hold your streaming thing up right now. You don't have to rely on any anti-Semitic thing that Kyrie Irving posts up to make your money when it comes to streaming. Give all your monies to Invincible, and I promise you.
Your platform, though, what we gonna talk about?
Listen, just to close off this topic, if you're feeling the way that we're feeling a little bit, with the fatigue that's setting in, like for instance, Marvel's trying to build up Secret Wars. I think now they're taking Basket out of DC, and it's not earned. It's not earned. We haven't seen the fucking scrolls since Spider-Man.
Like get the writers, man. Get better writers. Get writers that are actually fans of your fucking property,
Yeah.
bro. Stop getting these activists that are just trying to use your platform for their message that they're trying to push their agenda. No, no more of this, bro. You
And
are
learn
losing
and learn
your
from Black
fan.
Panther. We are ready for more serious topics in our superhero movies.
Like,
We're
bro,
ready. Drop the
like,
jokes. We don't need them no more.
like if Marvel's really about that action, you will have Rogue come in the next Captain Marvel movie and put hands on that woman and touch her body and her soul and take her power. I'm like,
I agree. I agree.
but
I agree.
but I doubt they'll get better writers. Like the
I
first 10 years,
mean, Kevin
the first 10
Feige.
years, it was all valid.
I
You
think
had
the money's gonna
Russo
talk.
brothers, you had James Gunn, you had all these writers and directors who were about that action. Stop stop trying to take chances on motherfuckers that are not credit. If they've never done a big movie before, stop it. Don't take a chance on them. Don't. No. No. That's like if you hired me,
I think the catalyst is gonna be James Gunn. If James Gunn could save the DCU in a way where it's not the same shit we've been getting, everybody's gonna move in the same direction that James Gunn is. Because who was the director for the first Avengers? I'm gonna tell you right now.
Walden,
Avengers.
Josh Whedon.
Josh Whedon. That's whose formula they've all been following. It worked for the time, and it was amazing. When Hulk said, "Cap, that's my secret. I'm always mad," I screamed.
Oh, that was the
But that formula is not working no more. You can't do that for every movie. If James Gunn can fix the DCU in a way where it's different, give us real good stories where it feels like a film and not a superhero movie, like let's say The Joker might be part 2, where yes, it's set in a superhero movie, but it's not. Listen, if he can do it, that's how everything's gonna be. We're gonna move on. Listen, we could talk about this all day, but we're gonna move on to another big topic that happened. Was it this month? UFC 282. Last week. Yeah, it was so soon. We're gonna move the topic over here. This is what we're gonna talk about right here, because one, we have a lot of shit to talk about with the UFC. I am a UFC casual fan. I love the UFC because my best friends watch it. That's how. Listen, we will go to my thumbnail editor's house, put on some Smash Brothers until the prelims were finished, and then we'll move on and watch UFC. And then I fell in love with the sport, but my love for the sport went in 100 times deeper when it came to Choco Dissi's commentary for every UFC pay-per-view. And last pay-per-view was a crazy upset, a record history-making upset, if we will. One, I don't know what's also going on with the fucking marketing with UFC. Like, the only time I see that a pay-per-view is gonna come is when it's like FanDuel or like the new gambling sites like pushing their pay-per-view. Like, I had no idea that UFC was starting. For whatever reason, I just woke up and I saw you was live, and then you are going ballistic for the main card and how it ended. So can you please elaborate on what happened? First off, give the flowers to everybody who won and everybody who competed. What were the highlights of UFC 282?
Alright, so I got you, Alfie. How I usually go when I talk about MMA content, as Alfie just said. In regards, before we start any and end all discussions, we want to give credit to all the fighters, whether they win, lose, for putting their mind, body, heart, soul, spirit, their whole essence.
They need to listen to me. Fucking pay them more, son.
Facts to obtain the chance to become a champion in their sport. They get all the credit in the
Go
world.
down in history.
With that being said, every fight before the co-main event for UFC 282 was absolutely glorious and nothing but a finish. Thank God we did not need a judge for any of those fights. Every fight before the co-main ended in a knockout, submission, or the referee, please come save me, my nigga. All of them. It was even from the prelims. Well, the prelims always be lit.
Yeah.
Prelims.
Because they have to prove themselves in the prelims.
Bro,
So it's a proving ground, if I'm not mistaken. Because again, I'm a casual fan. Prelims are always a proving ground.
Bro, the young bull that was at 17 still. Like literally, he was the featured of the prelims. Choked the motherfucker out in like the first round. It was like, or the second round. I was like, oh, crazy, bro.
It's crazy to see these monsters just go limp when it comes to like a submission.
Thanks. And like, so it was, every fight was lit. Every fight was lit. Until we get to the co-main event.
Which was against who?
So the co-main event was Paddy Pimblett, the next rising star the UFC is trying to promote.
Like the favorite. That's the bowl cut guy, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yes. The Manchester wee lad from London, from all that. Against Jared Gordon.
No. We're not skating past that accent you was about to do. Continue with it. So
Paddy Pimblett from Manchester and all. I really lost it. Once I said Jared Gordon's name, I lost it. But yeah, against Jared Gordon, the man who's been through some trials in his life, it was a tactical fight, right? So I'm gonna describe the fight, then I'm gonna go into the 3 points I have to hit. That I have to say has to change after this year. Has to change from the Nevada Athletic Commission, because the UFC doesn't control judging. Every state has their own athletic state commission. These motherfuckers gotta change. So in the co-main event, Paddy Pimblett is supposed to be known as a grappler. If those who don't know what a grappler is supposed to specialize in, you're specializing against the clinch work. In boxing, it's called dirty boxing when you're up against the clinch, but in jiu-jitsu, grappling is more important.
And also how to redirect your body weight when you're on somebody, right? To get them tired. Again, listen, UFC is an amazing sport. All of this stuff I picked up literally watching Choco and talking to my best friend. But I had no idea. But literally, like, when you wrestle, it's not about slamming people. It's about wearing them out.
Mm-hmm.
In those clinches that you were talking about. Please continue.
That's why in certain MMA, especially when it comes to ground and pound, there are 2 versions of ground and pound. There's the ground and pound where you take them down and all you do is smash them.
Yeah.
But then there's the ones that they're trying to drown you in deep waters. That's what Habib's technique and style was, where he's going to sambo you and wrestle your life away, but you're going to be so fucking drained and exhausted by the time you get to the third and fourth, you're done. You have nothing, bro. You're tired. You don't want to fight no more. So in regards to the co-main event, Paddy Pimblett went against another grappler, a better grappler. So you would have thought it would have been favorable. It wasn't. That Paddy Pimblett, he got outstruck. Every time he tried to throw hands, his chin and head went back, like literally. He had countered every time. Anytime it went to the clinch work, he got out-grappled every time. He got taken down every time. He put up a couple of fights, and got taken down every time. I should have sent you the picture of the scorecard, Mealfe. So Paddy Pimblett lost every round, the first 2 rounds. No question. If you watch our live stream that we were doing, literally, I think Wicked was there, and we were talking about this. I was like, all right. And one of my boy Kai,
by far one of your biggest live streams, if I'm not mistaken. You got a couple numbers there.
That's how controversial.
Because I think everybody was looking for someone who wasn't paid by the UFC to see, are we seeing the same fight?
So yeah, that's how crazy it was, chat. So Malfay's right. So the first 2 rounds, after every round, we talked to my chat and we're like, they were like, how y'all got it? How I got it? First 2 rounds, so all those who don't know MMA scoring, when you win a round, it's a 10. When you lose a round, it's a 9 on the scorecard. But if you get dog walked in a round, you get an 8. That's how bad. It's like
which means where it looks like the other opponent got beat up the whole entire round.
You did nothing. You were taken down. He beat that ass.
You basically almost lost that round. Yeah. Visually, you can see it. That's where that term dog walk comes from. Like, you were a hit away from getting knocked out, and it just didn't happen because you just got lucky. You got saved by the bell. Whatever it may be. Whatever it may be, that's where the term dog walk comes from. And from what Choco is also explaining to me, because I didn't know this, you would get scored an 8 rather than a 9.
Yeah, that it rarely happens sometimes, but it do happen.
Yeah.
So in the first 2 rounds, Patty didn't get dog walk, but it was definitely a lost round. So it's a 10-9. 10-9. Jared got the 10 on both for the first 2 rounds, and Patty got a 9, no question. It gets to the third round now. So Jared,
Final round,
instead
or
of
is the fourth the final?
no,
Did they
this is
have a
the
fourth?
co-main.
No.
No,
Okay, okay.
co-main.
So they only
If
had
it's
3
not a
rounds.
title, yeah, if it's not a title
Okay,
or the main event for a fight night, it's not 5 rounds.
gotcha.
So the final round in the third of the co-main, Jared Gordon is not striking as much, but he's still clinching. He's still grappling. So in MMA, boxing doesn't have this, but in MMA, which a lot of us are on the even even still veterans of MMA watching, we're still iffy on the rules and judging on control time. Unless you're on the ground,
Yeah.
that control time is easy. Like you're not getting up, you're being dominated, you're fucked. Against the clinch, against the cage, that gets weary. It's a little gray.
Yeah.
So that depends on the judges. So here's where it gets
Which is
funky.
why, if I'm not mistaken, is why a lot of fighters at that point start stomping feet. Because even though
Yeah,
you're working on the clinch, but you're trying to also get those points.
you have to look like you're still active, even if it's a
Yeah.
shoulder shrug, a stomping of the feet, like
Covering the
move
mouth and the
in the
nose and
nod.
stuff to stop. Yeah.
Yes. So here's where it gets really weird. Jared Gordon may not be striking, but he's still controlling the clinch. So that's control time. No problem, no question. Bell rings. First fight of the night that went to decision. We're like, oh, Patty lost this. It's clipped. He's no longer undefeated. I guess I don't know if I forget if he's not undefeated, but his hype train not his hype train's over. But you lost.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
He lost.
I'll learn from
Basically.
this.
They're favorable, marketable. They're next up and coming for
Yeah,
anybody
but that
that watches WWE or WWF.
like a young rising star. But this
Yeah.
is the difference between MMA and boxing. MMA, we don't mind losses that much, but it'll definitely take a hint to the hype
So
train.
the ladder you're climbing to get to what is essentially a title match.
Yes. So here's where shit gets wild. So we're all in agreement. I think across the board, we were all like, all right, cool. We all know Patty lost this. Jerry Gordon got this, no problem. When Bruce Buffer comes back, oh, instantly, I'm like, Patty lost this. We hear all the judges score the fight to 30-27. That means all 3 rounds, 30-27, 10-10-10. So we're like, all right, cool. Like, there shouldn't be a problem. Patty Pimblett won. We're like, what? What the
And then
yeah?
that's where everything erupted.
Bro, Dana, we saw videos of Dana White with the Barstool Boys. Like when they said Patty won, he was like, yeah, it sounds about right. And we were like, then you got Patty begging, Dana, fight of the night. No,
Which
that was not fight of
as
the
a
night.
fan, as a casual, you're seeing this and you're like, what is going on? As a veteran like Choco, who's actually analyzing every hit, every takedown, you're like, this is wrong. But can you imagine if you were a gambler?
Bro.
If you were a gambler and you're already counting your schmeckles because you know the other team won and the other opponent won and you get robbed? Oh my god.
And what made it worse was how Dana White was one, defending Patty, two, disrespecting Jared Gordon crazy in the post fight. Crazy. I'm talking down to this man.
I didn't know
Like,
that.
oh, if you think you won the first 2 rounds and you gave up the third, you should have lost. You're gonna lose. Like, if you think he won the first 2 rounds, how the did he lose the fight, bro? Like, what are we talking about,
Yeah.
bro?
Because basically you're showing your cards right there. You're like,
Your favorite Dana White. I don't want to say Dana White privilege, but it's showing your favoritism.
yeah.
We all know Dana White is biased. Like,
Oh,
he went down.
1000%. Whatever sells is always gonna be favorable.
Facts. The greatest example is Connor, but Connor is the biggest cash cow in UFC history, no
Yeah,
question.
it's one of the reasons why he's trying to own his own production company.
And
So
that's why you're right, El Malfe, because I say this in a different timeline, if Connor would have beaten Mayweather, whether knockout or decision, he would have had a blank check to the UFC. And I
for that
guarantee
next fight
no,
after.
no, fuck the next fight. Dana White would have given him percentages of the fucking company if he would have beat Mayweather. No question. No
Which
question.
for anybody who doesn't know UFC, Dana White is the one who basically UFC was
Yeah,
fucking recorded in garages and
yeah.
backyards, and he's the one who invested into what the sport is today.
Like I wouldn't say they were in backyards; they were still in stadiums, but they weren't even allowed in New York back then. That's how far he brought the MMA in these 20 years, give or take. Like not 10, like what 15?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
but yeah, so like I said, as much as I love MMA, as much as I love the UFC, I like Dana White may be biased, is it a hypocrite in many shape and form, but the credit that man has done for the sport can't be understated. Can't
Yeah.
That's why he's considered the godfather of MMA. But if you thought that was egregious and blew your mind, the main event for the vacant light heavyweight one of 205
Hold on,
was
you guys.
on
We have a special guest. Special guest, real quick. Just give me 1 second.
Is that the legendary Hookah Hoops?
No, that's my aunt. That is my aunt. She's looking for my car keys. and that's Coco being a big old baby.
That's the Auntie Meowface.
Yeah. All right. I'm sorry to cut you off.
Now you guys see the doggos in the back like, yee.
Yeah, like, now they get all depressed. They're like, we got no pets. No one patted our heads. But yes, you were talking about Dana White, the godfather of the UFC.
Yeah, so after that, the main event for the vacant light heavyweight title. For those who don't know, light heavyweight is 205. Feel me? For the 205 belt. So what happened was, for the lead up to it, the original main event was supposed to be Yuri versus Glover Teixeira. Yuri Prohaska was the champion for the light heavyweight title. He literally got the worst injury or shoulder injury in UFC history. Like Dana White said that shit was so crazy, like it was crazy bad. So he did a real nigga shit. He gave up the belt and was like, "I'll wait till."
Is he the one whose thing got pushed in?
No, with the.
Okay. Yeah.
So apparently, like his shit popped out or some crazy shit. They tried to pop it back in place and made it worse. So.
Listen, man, these guys are warriors. They're warriors.
So yeah, so literally like a week or 3 before the fight. So tragic. The new main event now, Jan Blachowicz versus Magomed Ankalaev. So here's where it gets crazy. The first 3, right? So for this fight, it all dictates on who you give the first round to. During my live stream of this event, the first round, either way, Jan outstruck Ankalaev a little bit, but Ankalaev pressured him more. But Jan, I was saying this literally, Jan was chopping Ankalaev down with them lower leg kicks. For those lower leg kicks are targeting your calf. And if you feel, for those watching now live or home, feel your calf right now. There's a lot of bone on there's some skin, like there's some fat on the shin, but there's a lot of bone on that. So
I will say this as a casual again. When you see those leg kicks happen, they happen so fast that even when they check them, which is like they kind of like pick a different part of their leg that won't hurt as much when it gets hit, you're like, okay, it's whatever. But as the match progresses, especially when it comes to like fighters with a lighter skin complexion, when I tell you it starts burning red, that sometimes you even see it blacken within the fight. And then that's when you're like, oh yeah, those leg kicks. But it just happens so fast. It looks like when you ever see one of those fighting movies where the fighter's just like boom boom hitting a bag and it's just that quick. It happens so quick that you don't see the damage until later in the fight. So those leg kicks, they're serious. If I'm not mistaken, that's how Conor broke his leg, right? It was a whole bunch of leg kicks and a step back, and it was just like...
He checked one of them, he did a step back,
and it just folded in half.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that's... Oh, man, I thought I said it again.
So those leg kicks, they don't look serious. You hear them. It sounds just like that warning right before his last 10 seconds where they hit those clack clack. That's exactly what it hears. Think about the last time, not when you stubbed your toe, but the last time you ran your shin into a corner. Now times that by somebody who's trained to do that to your legs.
And remember, the leg is the most muscled and frolic part of the human body. So
It holds your weight. It holds your weight.
So I'm glad El Malfe gave Oyat that description, because here's where it gets crazy. As we're watching this live, we're breaking it down. I'm literally after every leg kick for 3 rounds straight. I'm like, there's no way in hell Ankalaev can keep eating these, because he's not checking them. He's literally not checking none of these leg kicks. None of them. Maybe a few of them.
So he's just eating them.
Eating them, bro.
Oh.
Like,
this is spoiled cereal that he's eating.
When I tell you by the 3rd round, your boy can't stand.
Matter of fact, I think I got it. I got a thing for that. Where is it at? Not this one. It's not. There it is. Yeah, the my leg from SpongeBob. I have that. Oh my god! Just thinking. Listen, you guys. I didn't know this. I didn't know this pay-per-view was happening. But I'm sorry. Continue.
So
Eating them.
Literally, my leg. Like literally, Ankalaev is walking to his corner.
Somebody's driving my car, and I can already hear them revving my engine because they don't know how to drive a muscle car.
I'm about to go.
I just heard the loudest rev in all my life.
She about to fucking do 100 on the dad.
I'm sorry.
So after that, so remember, keep in mind, chat, and all those after, whoever you gave the first round to is gonna dictate how you would normally do it, right? Because
whether you're gonna be on the offensive or the defensive.
Feel me? Whether you give it because of the leg kicks, or Ankalaev because he's pressuring all this other shit.
Yeah.
4th round comes. Ankalaev can't stand. He can barely fucking stand. You know he comes out the corner, dude? Because you got to keep in mind, Ankalaev is from Russia. He does sambo like Habib, Islam, and all of them. The only thing is, he's more of a striker. He doesn't like to lean on his takedowns. He prefers to knock you out. What that man did in the 4th and 5th round, he went straight for the takedowns. He wasn't trying to stand on shit, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
because me, I do boxing, and when you strike, all of that comes from the legs and the hips. And if you don't have a leg, you're only left with what probably he was only trying to learn how to do.
He had no legs, bro. He like halfway through the 2nd round, his front leg he got chopped up so much he switched stances, and I was like, oh.
So he's basically Daniel-san from Karate.
Yeah. So, and I'm telling you, the 4th and 5th round, all he did was take him down. And Jan, we all know Jan's biggest kryptonite is his ground game. Once Ankalaev took Jan down, he didn't get back up.
Gotcha.
So, after just like the co-main event, the only 2 matches of the night of the pay-per-view event went to decision. What happens now? There's some hold up. Referees comes back. Majority draw, split decision. No champion. What Dana White said in the post conference? Oh, it was a boring fight. Oh, I guess we'll just do Glover Teixeira versus Jamal Hill in Brazil. And it's like, what?
For the title. So basically selling yet another pay-per-view, which was what people were already accusing the UFC of being.
And already shitting on your champion.
Kind of moving in a direction of where the WWE is at today, where instead of the sportsmanship and kind of the drama and rival that they will build, they will only push out whatever was entertaining. Now I understand the controversy.
And here's where the biggest problem all this lies, like I was saying before. The UFC, Dana White showed he doesn't really care for certain ones. That's why he didn't care if Patty won. And he didn't care about either one of those fighters. None of them, neither one, he doesn't care too much for Jan. Jan lost to Glover, so he doesn't care. And Ankalaev, he doesn't care. So where this lies is that the Athletic State Commission for each state, especially Nevada.
Yeah, which is a huge gambling state.
Y'all, y'all motherfuckers, Crystal, mommy, I'm sorry. Y'all motherfuckers have to change your credentials. You cannot have people out, your judges, looking like fucking fans out here. When I tell you the
I agree.
memes, judges scoring that Patty fight, hilarious. All you saw were, I wish I had it so I could have sent it to you.
Yeah.
It was like judges with the Patty Pimlet wigs, or I swear if I find it, if you re-edit this or break these videos down into clips, I'm gonna find that shit for you. So you can definitely put that shit up. Athletic State Commission for Nevada, 3 things. For now on, at the end of UFC events or any event, them judges have to be interviewed. No question. You need those judges to sit down, go through their scorebook, and be asked questions by the media and press. Oh, for this fight, how did you score this fight? How did you score that? Oh, what were your views on that? Why'd you?
I agree.
If fighters lose fights and they have to go to interviews, judges need to be like, nah, bro.
I might also add that I don't think there's enough judges.
Like,
I mean, I remember watching huge pay-per-view boxing matches, like back when homeboy that was caught cross-dressing, what was his name? Oscar de la Hoya. When he was in the rise in the early 2000s, and everybody was watching his pay-per-views, that judges table covered basically one whole side of the ring.
I forget how many there used to be in boxing. I know,
but it's a lot.
But it has to be it has to be like an odd number. So it's either you got to go the 3 or 5. Feel me?
Yeah.
Like especially in MMA, I don't mind the 3. Maybe you could have more, but you still got to interview them.
Yeah.
We need to hear your opinion. Like, why the fuck did you score this? So if we hear your opinion on why you scored such and such, if it don't make no sense, we don't want you back in this event. You're not you're not judging this shit again. Hell no. 2, you need either former fighters and former coaches to be judges. No more of these randos that might be fans. Nah, fans can't be. Nah,
you Which
need
is interesting. That's also very interesting because
yeah,
let's take it to a place where people understand. Some of the best sports commentators were players of said sport.
Yes. Talk about it. Baseball does it. Basketball does it. Football does it. Talk about it.
That's very interesting, and I 1000% agree with you.
UFC does it well. UFC does it as well. Michael Bisping, DC.
DC, I love DC. DC is, and I really wish once Adesanya retires that he gets into the commentary as well. He's really great. That I forgot what was it that he was commentating where he was doing it with Snoop Dogg, but the back and forth they had. Oh, it was was it the first YouTuber fights or some shit like that?
I believe so.
Yeah. It was something like that, or one of the Paul brothers fights, something like that. But Adesanya was commentating, and it was so refreshing. It was so refreshing. I really do hope he gets to the commentating.
Yes. So the same way you're feeling about commentating, we need that for judges. We need people that know the sport, know control time. Actually, we need people that's gonna, when they see somebody in the clinch or the takedown, they're not gonna be like, "Oh, that control time's boring. We're not gonna score that." Like, no. You need people that knows the ins and outs. Even if you don't know the ins and outs, you need to know what control time looks like. You need to know
I have what's the perfect parallel to that. It's like when Shorty, who was becoming the referee for the NFL, that people were pushing back on it. They're like, why is there making a girl? And then she was like, no, ask me. Quiz me, and I could tell you what play this is, what's this. And she stood by her shit, and she knew her shit too.
It wasn't tokenism. It wasn't just, oh, we need the first one. She actually knew her shit.
Yeah. I 1000. Yep.
So that's what you need. You need judges need to be interviewed after fights in the post-fight interviews, just like if Dana White's going to interview fighters, win or lose, they can interview. Judges need to be interviewed.
Yeah.
So you need former fighters and former coaches to become judges. More than motherfuckers. That ass, but ones that aren't biased. I don't care if you still go to a gym, if you're still loyal to a gym. All that bias shit goes out the fucking window if you're a judge.
Yeah.
Point blank, period. 3, and probably on this one, honestly, it is the fact that, oh man, just Now, I honestly, I'm not gonna go to the whole. If they fuck up bad, tax the motherfuckers or do some crazy.
But the explanation part is very interesting. Like, explain your decision, because sports journalism, they see everything, and they will break it down to you by the millisecond. So if they're like, okay, if you said there was this many strikes, please tell me at what time did you see these strikes actually connect?
Facts, not just significant strikes, shit that's just throwing and shit, like actual significant, like it was actually hitting. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but those are the main parts. They need to be interviewed and former fighters and coaches.
And completely unbiased. I would probably add a fourth thing. I don't think they should get paid by Dana. I think they should.
Not paid by Dana. They're not.
Okay. So they're paid by the foundation in which. Okay. All right. So
every state has their own. That's why
throw my shit out the window. It was already fixed.
Oh God, nah. Could you imagine if the UFC controlled judges? Jesus Christ. Oh man.
No, I agree. I agree with everything you said. Yo, that was now I understand the controversy on that UFC. It sucks that I missed it.
Especially the Patty, because it just showed you that Patty doesn't like. I don't get me wrong. No man wants to be like, man, I like you would think he had the hubris to look at himself like, I lost that fight. I could have better. Next time I come, I gotta be better.
Perfect segue to what I wanted to talk about right before we call it.
I talk about it.
Adesanya losing.
Oh, also, Wicked had a point too. If you still have that, Wicked, if you have that point, put it in the chat and we'll try to get that.
Yeah, because we're hitting the end right now. Adesanya handled that loss beautifully. Adesanya was like watching Rocky lose. Nobody wanted to see it, but he handled that loss like a fucking champ. Even when he was on Andrew Schultz's podcast right after.
Dana White wanted that loss.
You could tell. But even though it's beautifully set, like if this was WWF, not saying that UFC is fake, but it was beautifully set that he lost to the only person he has ever lost to.
Well, scripted on who Dana White wanted to fight, but yeah.
It was perfect. We know
sent Alex Pereira to Izzy, like.
And then everybody's saying, like, oh my God, how is he gonna be? And then when he went on Andrew Schultz's podcast, which is Flagrant, and he explained to people, he's like, yeah, it's a setback, but you know what? I needed to experience this. He's like, I lost to the one person that beat me, and the one thing I took away from this was that the punches he threw that knocked me out the first time we fought, I ate them. Meaning, if we go a third time, I can beat him. He spoke like a champ, and he handled that shit like a champ. And I was already a Izzy fan, but that solidified it. That solidified it for me.
Like,
he's like, I cried. I was sad about it, but you know what? He was like, I experimented with something you guys have never seen, which was his grappling. If I'm not mistaken, was it the grappling or his takedowns? I think it was his takedowns.
He was doing a good job.
I think he was like, you guys have never seen me take down anybody. And yeah. So I'm so interested to see Izzy come back. I cannot wait for it. And also, he talked this shit. He was like, a lot of people who have a title don't take 3 fights in a year.
That's a fact. Most of them don't barely fight twice.
Because it's risky. It's risky. It's already risky being a fighter. What's it called? CTE? When you get banged up in your head, that's real. That's real, and nobody's gonna hit nobody harder than somebody trying to win a champion. I am so ready for another Izzy fight. It can't come sooner. It can't come sooner.
I'm not sure if he's still on medical suspension, so don't quote me on that.
All I know, he's on that Kardashian suspension.
Oh, of course. So if anything, his fight will probably come back around the same time Connor's coming back, probably in the summer. So, but I don't know if they're trying to wait that long to not let.
He did say his leg was messed up. It goes back to those leg kicks we were talking about. He said he felt them.
In the 4th round, he checked the leg kick and it fucked his leg up. That's why he lost.
The way he explained it in Flagrant was, that phenomenon of when you're walking down the stairs and for whatever reason you walk weird. And you could feel like it feels almost as if a vein pops.
Yeah.
It's that weird phenomenon where you just step weird and your foot, the way you planted it, just feels weird and it hurts. He said he felt that during the fight
Yeah.
because of those
Because,
leg kicks.
bro, well, that, and it, to me, in my opinion, it was in the fourth round.
Mm.
In the fourth round, Pereira went for a leg kick and Izzy partially checked it. Ever since that partial leg kick, the whole rest of the fourth round and however long the fifth round lasted, Izzy wasn't walking right.
Mm.
If you
Mm-hmm.
notice or watch that, if you rewatch that fight, Izzy stopped walking side to side. He became too walking straight backwards.
Yeah.
So at the end of the fifth round, he's not walking side to side. And he was already trying, but Pereira was cutting him off way faster.
Yeah.
So once he can only walk backwards and he was back against the cage, Pereira clipped him, bro, because you can't stand in front of Pereira, bro.
And Izzy almost had him too. Izzy rocked him in the second, wasn't it?
Bro, if that fight goes to decision, Izzy wins. No question. No question. If that fight goes 2 or 3 more minutes, Izzy wins that fight.
Listen, I can't wait. I can't wait to see Izzy back. Let's go ahead and let's hit the chat before we go ahead and call it, because we have a really good announcement towards the end of it. Wicked said, what is it that Wicked said that we were referring to? Should I just scroll up?
I know in regards to the autonomy part, yes, that is a fact, but that's why they're supposed to be separate from the UFC. So you can't have problems like boxing used to have. Remember boxing back in the 40s, who had the super crazy problem with paying the mobsters paying off fighters to take dives and shit. So boxing was more of a joke. So they had to get the government to come sanction the fuck out of boxing.
Wicked also asks, can I imagine Jeffrey D. Morgan as Superman? I think he's too old. I do like him as Batman from the Flashpoint. I do like him as Bruce Wayne's father. I do like him for that. We also put up a poll on whether or not you guys thought Henry should stay as Superman or we should get a new one. You guys still have faith in him, and you guys voted that he should stay as Superman. Listen, if he does, I want him to be as passionate as he is for Warhammer. He should fight for the role then. We should not be the advocates. Like, it should be him.
But sometimes the fans, will fight for it good enough. You know what I'm saying?
We'll see. Choco.
Oh, I think also Loom was talking about the Harry Potter game as well. I think it was if it was gonna be worth the 300 or something.
Yes. It's a floating wand. Yes.
I'm surprised.
Open a book and the wand flies.
You still have your hammer?
It's right there. Right over here. It's being held up by the Red Hood mask and the ski mask on top of the Red Hood mask. The mask on a hammer. I was gonna put it on my shelf today, but I got lazy. Yes. Well, so listen, if I don't get that collector's edition, I am wasting 150 because I don't know if y'all know this, but they put out a wand that you could control anything that's Alexa enabled, Alexa or Google Assistant enabled. So you could literally say, Alexa, Lumos Maxima, with your wand, do the spell, and it will turn on your lights. So if I don't get my hands on that collector's edition, I'm gonna get that wand, bro. Yes, it's worth it. It's a wand in a book, and the wand flies. Come on, bro. Come on. It sucks that the money's gonna go to J.K. Rowling because we don't like her, but still. Come on.
I don't like the beef. I don't have no beef with her because she said some science shit, I guess. But
listen, man,
she's the woman that made the universe that everyone loves.
That's my issue. You guys are gonna see when I do a hood early release for that. I'm gonna be fighting so many fronts to make sure that I don't get reported. I'm gonna be fighting WB that they be on everything. I'm gonna be fighting the Harry Potter fans that don't want nothing to get spoiled. And I'm also gonna be fighting the trans community that are probably gonna be boycotting anything that J.K. Rowling does. It's gonna be a tough fight, but we're gonna make that hood early release happen.
I don't give a fuck. That's one of my like 3 to 4 games next year that I know for a fact I'm trying to stream and play. Put good hours into.
Can't wait. I can't wait to
Diablo 4, Blue Protocol, and I forget what the fourth one was.
Is Blue Protocol the one that I keep talking about? The one that's inspired by BioShock? Nah. Blue Protocol is the anime one that you sent me for the beta. Okay. Yeah.
The beta comes in March.
I don't care about J.K. Rowling because she's flat out lied about the 7th book. All right, you guys, we're going to close it up. This is the outro for this podcast that we're calling Nerd Talking Ish. All we did was talk ish. Whether we were right or wrong does not matter. We don't swing left. We don't lean left. We don't lean right. We just lean. We was raised in the Bronx, so we leaned back on our gamer chairs and we just talk that ish. Whether you agree with us, thank you. If you don't, thank you. We're just starting the conversation that we're always talking about. Love every single one of you guys. Thank you so much, Shoko, for being my first guest. I 1000% appreciate you. One of the biggest reasons that I also wanted to talk about the UFC controversy was not only because it was big in the sporting thing as of now, but also, if I'm not mistaken, right after this, Shoko, you're gonna be doing another commentary on today's fight.
Nah. It's a fight night and the main event's going through. But it's on the co. Well, the co-main is about to start now. But yeah, but we're gonna watch that though.
Are you streaming it? You gonna do some commentary? No, you just gonna chill. Well, whether he's gonna chill or not, please, you guys, I cannot give this guy enough flowers. Go subscribe to his channel. That would be an amazing Christmas gift. Not only for me, but for Choco Odysseus. He has so many plans coming to that channel coming up in the next few months. Please do not miss out on his great content. Matter of fact, you guys know how I always end my streams. It is with his voice. But we're going to do something special. And everybody get that live right now? That outro live and in person?
Sure. No problem. Wicked, I'll do the outro, but I'll still wait for your question as well. Know what I'm saying? So with that being said, squadettes, squadronian.
We are not lolly lovers. Jesus Christ, Wicked. You are gonna be a menace when it comes to Fire Emblem. For anybody joining, that is an ongoing joke from one of my favorite subscribers, Wicked. It all happened with a goddamn Pokemon stream. Pokemon is ruining my life right now. It is ruining my. You know how much Pokemon is ruining my life? I finished the game. I beat the Elite Four. After that, there's some post game stuff. I beat that too. After that, there's some post game stuff, which is like a tournament in the school. I beat that too. Let me show you why my Switch is right now behind my bed and then not even charged. As I beat the last person in that tournament, the camera pans up. You see that the credits are about to roll, and the goddamn game crashes on me. When's the last time I saved? Right before I was fighting the Elite Four. But Choco, go ahead and hit that outro.
I needed that, Wicked. That was too good for that. Squadronian. Jay-Z voice. Thank you. Whether we have 5 minutes, 10 minutes, half an hour, half our stream, the whole stream, or rewatching as well. You could be anywhere in the world, but you're here with us, so we truly appreciate that. Factual. Not everyone will tell you that, but we always do around here. Homies, keep your heads up. It's always darkest before the dawn. You can't shoot for the stars when you're looking at the ground. Facts. And ladies, if no one told you today or tonight, whenever you do get to watch this, you are absolutely beautiful. And on that chat squad, Meowfei, let me get a yay.
Yay. Thank you guys. Just a couple nerds talking ish. See you guys in the next one.